shattered, devastated, completely humiliated after an event on a warm August night when two masked men broke into my house, came to me from behind before I saw them, smashed me on the head with the butt of a pistol, smothered my face with a pillow, while one man ransacked the house. The other one threw me to the floor, hog-tied me with a heavy electrical cord, pulled my clothes off, and continued clicking a loaded .357 Magnum at my head and my ear. Then he began to take my clothes off. He then proceeded to drag me through the house. He threw me to my back, and with the gun constantly between my eyes, in my mouth, under my chin, he ripped the rest of my clothing off, and he raped me. After raping me, he had a conversation. He asked his friend if he should do it. He was quite intent on killing me, and I was terrified that my husband would come home to simply find my body. As he was leaving, he reminded me that he would be back. After they left, I was able to get back through my house, access a telephone, and with my hands still brutally, viciously tied behind me, was able to tap the phone and get assistance. The policeman arrived and successfully unsnarled my hands and my feet, found a robe for me, and took me to the hospital in Modesto. I was treated wonderfully by the female team of doctors and nurses. I was able to talk with a member of the rape task force. There was good contact between the people from the task force and me, guiding me, assisting me, helping me to get into counseling. It's very, very helpful as we worked up to the time of the preliminary hearing and eventually the trial. Through all of it, each person I met with was very comforting, helpful, explaining procedures, protective of me. Even at the time of the preliminary hearing, one of the detectives sat with me while I waited for my turn to go into the courtroom. 3 or 4 months later came the trial, at which time the assailant did plead guilty, so a prison sentence was assigned. After that, I still had much fear, much trepidation. It was very difficult for me to be in a restaurant unless my back was to a wall. Small noises bothered me. I really disliked the sound of a belt buckle opening. Yet through the help of the counseling, I was able to settle and be better. Things were somewhat difficult at home. I had constant nightmares. For years, screaming, waking up at night, nightmares where I was still being pursued. Thankfully, I had a wonderful husband who was always comforting and assisting me and assuring me that everything was all right. Many years later, I received a call from the district attorney's office. A woman explained to me that it was time for a parole hearing. She explained the process and asked me to come in and discuss it with her. She explained that I had the option to leave everything alone, that I could do a video conference, or that I could go to a parole hearing, tell my story, and share my feelings, and to do a victim's impact statement at the parole hearing at the prison. After much thought, I did go in and talk with her, and she reassured me that it would assist me in my healing. I began writing all my thoughts down, and of course it brought up many things that had been shoved to the back that I didn't remember. And it became so upsetting to me that I went in and told her that I wouldn't be able to do it. She shared a couple of stories and explained to me how cathartic it had been for other people. So I agonizingly went through another couple of months writing, rewriting, re-editing, doing everything over and over until I really believed that I had written what I wanted to say. And I was told that I could submit it as a writing, but I decided I would take it on full force. So on the day, the advocate drove me to the prison, sat with me. There was literal hand-holding at some point, and she definitely had my back and was a support. I was extremely nervous. I was terrified. And then walking through the prison yard to the building where the meeting would be just about did me in. But I was able at my turn to stand and say what had happened, how it had impacted me, and what my wishes were for the future. Thankfully, he had been instructed to not look at me under any circumstances. I was able to look at him from the side, to see him, and to state everything I wanted to say, every anger, every hurt, every emotion that I wanted to share. And when I was finished, I was depleted, but had such an amazing sense of healing that I was happy with myself, that I felt I had been brave enough to do this. But I realized that she had been right from the first time that I met her, that this was such a helpful, healing kind of event. And I truly moved from what I thought I had moved past as a victim, and I did no longer feel a victim, and I felt I was a survivor of the whole situation. I am so, so grateful for the time and patience that she had with me, that she stayed with me, talking with me, encouraging me. And I have to almost grin when I think it was as though I had released all of it. It was gone from me. Yes, I still think about it, and I also know that another parole hearing is coming up. It won't be fun, but I am so pleased that I can move ahead, knowing that whatever I have to say at that time, I'll be able to do much more easily. And I know that I will have the support, actual nurturing from people who care about victims. And I'm just eternally grateful for what they've been able to do for each one of us who has taken this step. And I would encourage anyone who is hesitating, thinking that, oh, I couldn't possibly do it. Yes, absolutely you can, because there will be someone there with you, by your side. Someone has your back. People who understand how this processes, and that it is an important step, not just for you, but for the justice system. That persons who have taken such vicious actions, such brutal actions, that do not deserve to be back where they could reoffend. It's also a good feeling knowing that as I approach a new parole hearing, that I'll be able to do it by video call. I will not need to go to the prison. I can do it from the DA's office by video call. So there's a great comfort. And I hope that if there's any part of my words that could assist someone in making that step, it would be an extra grace. This entire process of facing my fears and then writing down my thoughts, but actually verbalizing them in front of my attacker, was so incredibly healing that I truly moved from a place of still a little of a victim to just completely owning my power and being back into the person that I truly am. I'm no longer a shadow of that person, but living in my own strength and power.